Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining ARC's Fireside Chat today. I'm Mark Taylor, Hope and Redemption Team Life Coach. I have the pleasure of co-hosting this with my colleague and friend, Joseph Osorio. Our Executive Director, Sam Lewis, is unable to join today because he's actually in Soledad State Prison. We're able to deliver services back inside the prison for the first time since the pandemic. So he's out there in the field with some other life coaches. But today we have some amazing panelists. I went through the Hope and Redemption Team program while I was incarcerated. And once I was released, I tapped into the wraparound services, including but not limited to housing and internship, employment opportunities, self-help and therapy. And with that, I'm going to pass it to my colleague, Joseph, to introduce himself.
Hey, thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. So first of all, thank you everybody for joining us in this space. It's an awesome opportunity. Like Mark said, my name is Joseph. I'm also formerly incarcerated. I spent 18 years inside the Department of Corrections. While I was incarcerated, I met every single person on this screen and actually served time with each one of them at some point about 3 years ago. So it's awesome to be back here and have this opportunity to have this conversation. I've been home for about 2 years now, and I'm a life coach like Mark. I work up in Pelican Bay State Prison, providing services to the men there. It's an awesome opportunity. I feel good to be able to be here away from grading some papers and giving some feedback and just kind of have this space to talk to my boys. So I look forward to it, and I thank you all for joining us.
As I stated earlier, we have some amazing panelists today. Collectively, the men on this screen have served 119 years incarcerated in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. So before we go on, I'm gonna have each one of these gentlemen introduce themselves. And I think we will start with Seraphine. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, how you guys doing? It's great to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. As Mark said, my name is Serafin Leon. I served over 32 years, and I've been home a year and a half. Actually, I was paroled 2 years ago, but I was detained in immigration detention for 6 months. And I'd like to announce that I had the great fortune of participating in the HART in Delano, Kern Valley State Prison, as well as Ironwood in 2018 and 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, Seraphine. It's good to see you out here, brother. I'm glad you're home, and I know you've been doing amazing stuff out here, which we're going to get into. And now we will have Tommy introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. I would just like to say thank you for allowing me to be here. It is amazing to see all. I did time at Ironwood State Prison. I served over 14 years. While there, I did meet all these gentlemen and participate in the ART program. It was an amazing program. I had a wonderful time. I learned a lot of beautiful insight that just really isn't talked about in the regular classes. And I'm just really happy and excited to be here. I've been home for about, this November makes 2 years. And yeah, I'm just blessed. I'm doing really well. And I'm really proud of the progress and the opportunity and the things that are available through ARC. Thank you.
Good to see you at home as well, brother. Tommy, what was your initial sentence?
So initially I was sentenced to 40 years double life, and I served a little bit over 14. I was commuted by the governor, and I came home.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And now we're going to have Dominique introduce himself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Dominique Tanks. Initially, I was sentenced to 50 years to life. I was commuted by Governor Brown for a reduced sentence to 15 to life. I was found suitable, and I was released about three and a half months ago. And I have recently just been hired by ARC as the newly member of the Hope and Redemption Team. And it's something I'm very thrilled about. I served my time at Ironwood, where I met all of you gentlemen on the panel here today. Yes, so I'm excited to share.
All right, thank you, Tank. You're actually in the Los Angeles office right now, correct? That's where you're broadcasting from?
I'm actually in the office right now, yes.
Okay, welcome to the team and welcome home, brother. Glad you're home as well. Wes, how you feeling today?
Hey, I'm feeling wonderful, brother. My name is Wes Aberhart. I served 17 years in the California prison system. It's definitely an honor to be here on this platform today. I'm just absolutely grateful. I was originally sentenced to 31 years of incarceration. due to the heavy push for SB 1308, which raised the youth offender age to 25. I was able to go to the board and come home 10 years early, which I'm absolutely appreciative of. And right now, I'm just out here working, and I'm trying to get back to the community and the public on a broad level.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Welcome, gentlemen. I'll pass it to Joseph.
Hey, thank you, Mark. And thank you all for introducing yourselves. This is a pretty amazing panel. First of all, Dominique Tanks, man, I want to congratulate you and welcome you to the team. It's really awesome to have you a part of our Hope and Redemption team. I know you're going to bring great energy. It's awesome. I seen you in action when we're at Ironwood State Prison facilitating groups. So I already know what you bring to the table. So I'm excited. But with that, right, I want to ask you the first question with regards to joining the team, because you are our newest member to the team. For me, when I was motivated, I knew that when I left prison, it was bittersweet. I was happy because I was coming back into society. I was going to be with my family. I was going to be with my friends. I was going to have another chance at freedom. But there was also a part of me that was really hurt. It was tough to leave all of you guys, many of you guys that were there with me, and many of my other friends or our friends that we left behind. And so I was motivated by that feeling, right? And that emotion to want to come back into prison and to want to give back in some meaningful way. And that's just my experience, right? And so I ask you, as the newest member of Hope and Redemption, what is it that's going to motivate you to be a part, or what's motivating you to be a part of this team?
Well, what motivated me to be part of the team is the very thing that motivated me to become a mentor in the first place. When men have selflessly dedicated and invested energy and time into me, and to reap the reward and the benefits from that, I feel like a more obligation to continue to perpetuate that very same gratitude that they bestowed on me. So when Caesar and Jamel entered Ironwood State Prison, still on parole as life coach to come and facilitate groups to me, that was extremely inspiring and motivating for me. And I reaped a lot of benefits from that. And I really enjoyed the feeling of seeing someone that is like me coming back and to help me. And that right there brought a lot of joy, just envisioning being in that position where I could do the very same thing. So that's one of multiple things that motivates me. And I just want to contribute to my community, which is those that are currently and those that are formerly incarcerated.
Man, that's awesome, bro. Thank you for sharing. Like you, I share a same experience with having Caesar and Jamel coming into Ironwood for the very first time. And I remember what that feeling was like. And I remember being motivated myself by seeing them, people like me. They weren't wearing blues anymore. They were wearing some nice suits and some nice Stacey Adams. And I was motivated and inspired by that. And now, Mark, and myself, we go back in and do some of the same work. So it's awesome. And that is a really good motivating factor for a lot of us. And I commend you, man. And it's going to be an awesome journey and an awesome ride. And I look forward to being a part of it with you, brother. So thank you, Tank.
Yes. Thank you.
I have to echo that sentiment. Caesar Zuniga, Jamel Carter were my life coaches when I was incarcerated. We were in the same programs together. And to see them come in while on parole, and they had been through the board process and they knew what it took to get found suitable, that really helped me with my rehabilitative process. And that inspired me as well. At the Anti-Recidivism Coalition, we also have cohorts where we run individuals through these cohorts and give them the skills that they need to have careers in the union, earn a livable wage. I know, Seraphine, you went through our 11th cohort. Can you tell us what that experience was like?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I had the great fortune of being accepted to participate in ARC's construction pre-apprenticeship readiness program. It started this past January, and I graduated in March. It's 12-week intensive hands-on training in the fields of construction. The program is very thorough, well-rounded, because it not only involves construction training, but it also involves the participation in the curriculum of self-help classes. Caesar Zuniga, who you guys just mentioned earlier, he facilitated the cognitive behavior intervention and CGA programs in the cohort. And also we had literacy in financial. It teaches you how to budget your money and manage your money, and as well as this second call is emotional intelligence program headed by Skip Townsend. Shout out to Skip. So after the program is designed to set you on a path, not only to find a job, but actually to start a successful career in construction. And the program is in collaboration with the Los Angeles Southwest College and also the Los Angeles Federation of Labor and the LA Orange County Builders Trades Council. Shout out to Ben Garcia and Isaac, who were very helpful and informative in getting us through the program. And so that's essentially what the program's about. And I would recommend anybody that's coming out back into society to look into applying to the program. It's being ran like every few months. As one cohort graduates, they get ready to start a new one. So it was truly a blessing for me to participate in the program. Oh, I should add also that you receive a stipend of $950 every 2 weeks for participating in the 12-week program. It's very helpful.
So you got paid to go through the program, and now that you have went through it, do you believe that you'll be able to earn a livable wage?
Yes, actually, I chose the electrical trades union. Right now, they're closed for application, but they're set to open within 9 months to a year, and so I'm just waiting on call. I could have chosen any other trade in construction, but that was my preferred choice. So I'm just on standby waiting. But yeah, the training was hands-on every day, and they teach you how to develop a responsible and work ethic in everything you do, not just with maintaining a job, but in everything. How to be punctual, and it's just all encompassing. The program is excellent, and I truly recommend it.
All right, thank you. I'll pass it back to Joseph. You're muted.
Serafine, that's a powerful story. Like you, when I remember hearing about the cohort program. I remember Caesar and Jamel bringing us pamphlets about it, talking about joining a union, becoming an electrician, becoming a plumber. There was just so many different opportunities that you can do. And to see you going through that is really awesome. And I had the honor to be able to attend one of the graduation ceremonies about 1.5 years ago. And I can tell you, it was really special. I had a great time. I seen a lot of the same guys that I was incarcerated with going through that program and graduating. So it was really cool. And I was really happy to be a part of that. And so I encourage those that are out there that are seeking a career, join it if you're able to, and pursue that, man. It's a great thing to do, and you make an honest living. So yeah, I appreciate it. This is going to be a question that's going to be for everybody on this panel, but I'll be starting with you, Serafine, just so you're aware. So to everybody, right? All of us here spent at least a decade in prison. And Serafine, you spent almost 3 decades, or I believe 3 decades in prison. How was that like coming home? What was it like for you, Serafine?
I mean, it was like a dream to me. I mean, there were times, months after I was released, that I would wake up in the morning still thinking that I was in a prison cell. It was just that incredible and unbelievable for me. I had to pinch myself every day to realize that this is actually true. I'm out. I've been very blessed to have a very supportive family, and that made it much easier for me to transition into society. And I imagine that for those that aren't as fortunate as I am to have a very supportive family, a very supportive network, it probably is very difficult to transition. That wasn't the case for me, and so I was able to readapt fairly smoothly. And of course, I availed myself of the opportunities and the support that ARC offered. I met frequently with Cesar Zuniga, and I saw Jamel Carter as well when I would go visit the ARC office in downtown LA, and just to see what kind of opportunities they could present that I could avail myself to, and I just wanted to maintain a connection with people that helped me out while I was still in there, and it made me just develop a stronger sense of community with these individuals that gave me a lot of hope while I was still in there. And now that I'm out here and I'm continuing to adapt, I want to give my part back and try to help those that were in my situation and need that support. And that's what I'm here to do.
Thank you so much, Serafin. I appreciate that, man. You're doing exactly that. You're leading by example, and everybody back in the prison, especially specifically at Ironwood, they're extremely proud of you, man. So it's awesome to see that. I'll go with you next, Tommy, if you can answer that question.
Yeah. So for me, it was amazing. It was a little overwhelming the first few months, but like Serafin stated, coming home and having the family support, that network of support is very important. It allows us to come home and just feel welcome and feel comforted. And it wasn't so much a struggle to try and get on our feet. I think the programs and the things that are offered to us through ARC, they're fundamental to us being successful. Without the experience that I had in the classes with Cesar and Jamel as well, it was really nice to be able to see that and experience that whole atmosphere and watch these men share these stories about how when they came home, they were able to do so much, and their experience, and they're still on parole and they're teaching us. And so it prepared me when I got out to know that I need to hit the ground running. And you start to really get your things in order. And so coming home, I did have a little bit of a head start, but it's overwhelming. There's a lot going on. And just the fundamentals of everything that ARC does, just going to the office. I was able to meet Carlos Cervantes. Shout out to Carlos. And he actually hooked me up with Yerba Mate. It's an organic tea company. And I started delivering tea for them full time with benefits and everything. And so there's just so many opportunities and connections that could be made if you stay connected to the network and utilizing those tools and not being ashamed or being scared to reach out and ask for help. And for me, that's what allowed me to be in a position that I'm at today. And I'm just really grateful for my family, for the love and the support from all of you guys and all the other brothers from ARC. It's just it's a unique family experience coming home and receiving all that encouragement from all the fellas that have done time before and from all of our family that's missed us for so long.
Thank you so much, Tommy. I appreciate you, bro. And you're doing an excellent job, man. Proud of you too, bro. Mr. Dominique Tanks.
Yes. Coming home or at least approaching that release date, you're asked the question, how are you feeling? What are you thinking quite often? And this is like one of the questions that I have the most difficult answering, because there's just so much emotions and so much thoughts that go through your mind. It's very difficult to put that in words that people could truly understand your feelings and what you're thinking. And I always put it in an analogy as far as that I was sentenced to life in prison at the age of 16, 50 years to life. And essentially, it seems like you are no longer living in society. You're removed and isolated in very remote places. So for me, the feeling is as if I have not been living for the past 16 years. And I've been given the chance to live again, and with the memories of the first life that I lived. And now I just live with purpose. I live with meaning. There's just so much appreciation and so much gratitude that I have about the smallest things. I was in the DMV line not too long ago, and I'm smiling and just talking to people, and everyone looking at me, this guy must be strange. But I'm just happy that I could wait in a DMV line and not the canteen line or phone line or all these other typical lines. But just the small things that I'm very grateful for about my freedom. It has been as struggles. Yes, there's been some struggles, but I prepared myself to deal with these struggles. I anticipated the stresses and some of the triggers that I'll be exposed to, but I developed coping skills and mechanisms to prepare for those moments. And when those challenges come, I'll have the temperament and I'll have the mindset to approach it, with humbleness and not take things personally. So the challenges have been some, but my steadfast and my support network that I have from you all, from ARC, my loved ones and family, has been very effective. So I've been overcoming a lot of challenges, and I'm here now, starting my career with ARC.
Thank you, Tanks. Proud of you, bro, as well. You're doing amazing work, man. So appreciate it, man. And that canteen line and the DMV, that's the core for me. I remember that experience, spending hours at the DMV and just being happy that I was spending time at the DMV and not a canteen line, or the phone line for that matter, right?
Well, just remember back inside in prison, I always kept a book in my back pocket, because I said any line I stand in, I'm just pull out a book and read. Because in my mind, it's no time wasted. I'm not wasting my time in any type of line if I'm reading and learning something while I'm there. So it's no time wasted.
Man, beautifully said, bro. Thank you so much. Great. Mr. West, Mr. Abrahart.
Yes. It's I can say it's been glorious. The preparation for my freedom. I want to thank all you guys. You guys, ARC, I met you guys in prison. CZ Jamil, have been hugely instrumental in me coming home. You played a huge role in the individual I've become today. Coming home and realizing I had such a strong support system and the networks, just being engaged and on a positive level, and everybody striving to accomplish something productive and maintain that positivity. Just allows me to just remain humble. Outside of that, I'm just so appreciative, man. Just be able to come home. Like ARC, sees they come in here, they tell us about life experiences, what they've been dealing with out there in society. Not just the temptation, but certain situations that they had to deal with. And that allows us to not just play the role, but when the opportunity presents itself, humble yourself in those opportunities, because life is about choices and decisions, and they allowed us to understand that it's absolutely innate in us to make the right choices and decisions that lead to better outcomes versus this struggling to do things right. And like I said, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate what the guys at ARC have done for me. From Dominique Tanks to Mark Taylor, Tommy, you all played a huge instrumental role in, the person I have today, and how I act, how attentive I am, and the things I like to participate in now today. I just can't thank you guys enough. ARC has definitely been a cornerstone of my recovery. I wake up every day and I look at the clothes that I wear today, and that's like the most amazing thing. I'm no longer in prison blues. That fascinates me. Looking at what I got on today, I'm not in prison blues no more. And I've actually worked hard to put myself in a position where I can become a better individual and give back to the people out here in society. So I definitely can't thank you guys at ARC enough. They play a role in my life today. Like I say, from life coaches to just being able to pick up the phone and call you guys and tell you what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Appreciate you, bro. Again, good to see you home. So I have a question for all our panelists. How did rehabilitative programming aid you in your incarceration, and how did it help you reintegrate into society in a healthy manner? And I think I'll start off with Seraphine again.
Me a lot in figuring things out about myself. I think when I first it was 2013 when I first started taking rehabilitation seriously, and that was a result of Senate Bill 260, the youth offender law that passed, giving juvenile offenders who were tried and convicted as adults an opportunity to a second chance of gaining freedom. And so that's when I started taking that seriously, because I saw an opportunity to come home. Before that law, I was sentenced to 27 years to life, but in effect, it felt like life without parole, because I wasn't seeing any lifers going home. And at that time, I was in Kern Valley State Prison up in Delano. And while I was there 5 years, I had only seen one individual, and that was towards the latter part of the 5 years, that had actually been found suitable. And I was transferred to Ironwood State Prison in 2018, and that's when I met all of you guys there. And Mark, you were the only one that the first one that I saw there at Ironwood that had been found suitable. And I don't know if you remember, but I used to run all the time the track, and I used to run alongside you, and I'd try to pick your brain, like how did you accomplish this? How did you do this? And to the point where I think that you began to see me as a nuisance, But you invited me to take rehabilitation classes there at Ironwood, CGA. You told me you were facilitating CGA. And this was before I met Jamel and Caesar from HART, ARC's HART. And so I was attending CGA, and I remember asking you a lot of questions about how you approach the commissioners of the board to be found suitable. And so I really didn't want to listen to anybody else, because I know there were a lot of rehabilitation programs being facilitated by people from free society that had never done time before, were never incarcerated. So I always felt that they were not relatable, that they were only coming in there to earn their wages or whatever and go home. But you were found suitable, so you were facilitating the classes, and I want to listen to you. And then Caesar and Jamel came in with ARCs, and they had the 3 classes, CGA, the board prep, and the mentorship program. And here are 2 guys, former lifers, still on parole. And I'm like, what? It just sounded crazy to me, And there I am. I'm like a sponge, I'm just soaking up everything they're teaching, they're offering. And sure enough, my opportunity, it was actually my 5th opportunity to go before the parole board, and I got found suitable, and that was a result of the extensive rehabilitation programs that I undertook in Delano, as well as Ironwood State Prison. And here, the results, here I am.
Thank you. I remember that CGA class we were all in. We got a lot of good work done in there. And then you start seeing the fellas come home and do amazing things. That really just fills my soul.
Mm-hmm.
Same question for you, Tommy. How did the rehabilitative programming that you went through, how did that aid you in your incarceration and once you were released?
So for the incarceration portion of it, it helped us stay focused and really stay rooted to what it is that we were trying to do. And that is to ultimately change who we were as human beings from the ground up. We had to really dig deep and try to figure out what was wrong with us and what made us think that it was okay to do the things that we did to end up in that place in the first place. So continuously indulging in those thoughts and those ideologies that we grew up around, and trying to reconfigure our minds and figure out what went wrong. It really helped us stay focused. It helped me stay humbled, because I started to really understand the harm that I had caused. And when you start to realize that, you start to really think about that, it has a huge effect on you, and you really do feel remorseful. And I personally felt horrible for what I had done. So I really wanted to change myself. I never wanted to commit an act like that ever again. So being in those groups, it allowed me to express that to others and help them maybe see something different, but ultimately it allowed us to really stay focused on positive change and not get caught up in the nonsense that goes on in the prison yard. And so, all day, being in classes all day, studying for college, you really don't have no free time to be out there and be idle. And every time you want to go work out, you want to stay healthy. So while incarcerated, those classes were fundamental to who we were, but they call them self-help for a reason. It's really what you want to get out of them. But now we enter into the ARC program. When these guys came in, when Caesar and Jamel came in, it changed the game. It brought so much inspiration, so much hope from the yard. Everybody's talking about it in and out of class. Just to see incarcerated individuals who had served that much time out on parole, coming back into the prison yard to tell us that it's possible, it really ignited a fire in a lot of us. And I was facilitators with all of you men on this panel. And it really changed the whole mindset for us. We started to really see that, that things are possible. We can actually get the heck out of here and we can actually use all these skills that we're learning. So for me, that adoption that I used while in there, I placed it when I came out. And one of the biggest classes that helped me through ARC was the CGA class, Criminal and Gang Member Anonymous. It's a criminal that we all adopt. And I still suffer from I don't know if it's post-traumatic stress or what. I still think that everyone's out to get me. I still think that, like, not on a personal level, but on a business sense. Like, I'm fortunate enough to be a part of a relationship with the woman that I love, my fiance, and we own a restaurant and liquor store. And I always think that anyone that we hire to come in and do service, if she talks to them and she hires them, I think they're trying to scam us. But if I talk to them, I feel like I interrogate them more and I make sure that they know that I'm going to watch everything they do. I'm going to be there the whole time and I'm going to make sure that no one's going to get over on us. And that's something that I struggled with on the other side. I was always trying to get over on everyone when I was outside in the free world before I committed my crime. So now I'm starting to see that there's still some residual effects from the criminal mentality that I lived by, that I suffer from today, that I'm still applying to the life skills that I have out here. And so that's something that I've struggled with. It's something that I've identified. It's something I'm working on. But again, these are things that are only allowable by myself because it's something I have to identify. And I couldn't have done it if I wouldn't have been through these classes and learned these curriculums. And so they're fundamental to the application out here in the free world, because things that we're going to identify later on down the line. This November makes 2 years that I've been free. And I mean, I'm doing amazing. I can't believe the life that I have today. I'm truly grateful and humble for everything that I have, but it has taken a lot of work. There's times where I was working 2 jobs for 15, 20 hours a day sometimes. And just so I can get to a position where I can have and enjoy things, and I think the mentality and the peace and the tranquility that we can have out here in the free world is something that it's very valuable, but it's something that's hard for a lot of us to obtain. And doing these classes and really doing that self-evaluation really helps. And honestly, I don't think I could have done it without the knowledge and the wisdom that I gained while in those classes in there. So, yeah, it's just definitely a struggle, but it's definitely something that I have used today. It's still something that I can apply in my life every single day. And I just think that being in those classes for so long and still using those skill sets out here is going to truly help me stay free, continue to be successful.
All right. Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate you. Just to give the audience a little bit of context, in the HART program, we run 3 separate classes. One is Criminals and Gang Members Anonymous. It's a 12-step program similar to AA that helps you address criminal thinking and shows you how to clearly change that. We also run a board preparation class, which prepares people for board. The board is a very, very extremely rigorous process. So we help prepare our students for that process. And the last class we teach is a youth offender program class with a heavy emphasis on emotional intelligence, how you increase your emotional intelligence in a manner that helps you reintegrate into society in a healthy and productive manner. With that, I have the same kind of question for you, Tanks, but I'm gonna change it up just a little bit. So in your case, you were commuted by the governor, you went to board and got found suitable, and eventually you were released. The things that you learned in these classes, did they help you prepare for a commutation, and did they help you reintegrate into society in a healthy manner?
All the above, Mark. So the classes, all the rehabilitative programs were helpful. But but certain ones were a lot more effective in getting me to the place where I need to be, as far as understanding more about myself. So to be found suitable or to receive a commutation essentially is measured based on how much have you understand about yourself. What is the process that you took to understand yourself? Have you seriously delved into yourself, look into the darkest part of you, and begin to ask yourself questions? In order to do that, you have to get out your shell of denial, and in order to even realize that you've been living in a bubble of denial, these rehabilitative programs shine the light on that. It makes you realize that, and the Hope and Redemption team with Caesar and Jamel, they were good at spotting certain things because they lived it. They've been in our shoes. They have re-entered into society. They come back with an entirely different perspective, a much more clarity than I ever could have just remaining in prison. So they're able to assist me because I believe that I was at a further along in my rehabilitation, but they came along and said, like, look, there's so much more that you can advance in, and that's what they helped me with. So in general, the rehabilitative programs were great. That was already existing. It just when Caesar and Jamel came part of the Hope and Redemption team, they took the good that already exists and made it greater. They took the transformation and growth that I already made and helped me go further. And with that, it made me be what is considered deemed fitting for a commutation by the governor's office, by Governor Brown. It made me under the forensic psychologist when I went through a thorough psych eval prior to the board. They gave me a low risk assessment. I went to the board, got found suitable. Governor Newsom reviewed it, signed off on it. It was only due to the work that I've done and the assistance that I was given while trying to do that work, the process. All of this was just the end result of a lot of work that I've done and the assistance from you, Mark, from everyone on this panel. From Tommy, HART, Seraphine, Joseph and Mark, the entire community of ARC, and especially those that came into the prison. But you take what is already good and they made it greater. And so that helped me immeasurably when I transitioned into society, because we could think about hypothetical scenarios and situations that we may encounter while we're in prison, but that can only take us so much for wherever our imagination can take us. But when you're actually out here and you're experiencing those triggers, when someone wanted to fight me at a train station because I couldn't help him buy a ticket, and because of that, he wanted to fight me because I could not help him buy a ticket. That was a trigger. But it was the things that I've learned in these rehabilitative programs that this is the time to employ them. This is the time to apply all the things that I learned. These are not hypothetical situations anymore. This is actual real life. And it's only those things that I've learned in those programs. And I learned from my life coaches and my mentors that allowed me to navigate that situation. That was very murky waters that I was able to navigate. And thanks a lot to those that shared so much with me, that helped me grow to the point that I am now. But that's just one, extreme scenario that I experienced. But the day-to-day stresses that can accumulate to something major, I'm able to recognize those things. And it was from my life coaches, it was from Caesar and Jamel saying the things that they struggle with getting out of prison. The real things that they had to experience, now that when I experienced them, I already have a playbook on how to approach it because someone already experienced that informed me this is the best way that they navigated. And now I can take that information in and begin to devise my own strategy and plan how to approach life when I experience something similar. So that's how I was affected by and how effective it was for me while I was incarcerated and now here as a civilian.
Thank you so much. Thanks, man. I think you pointed out a really important component about what we do or what the program offers. but it's extremely universal, right? It's not just about preparing you for a parole board that's coming up. It's not preparing you for a commutation. It's preparing you for life, and it's giving you the essential tools that you're gonna need in life when you come home to deal with the situation like you dealt with, Tanks, at a bus station, right? And that's the beauty of what we do, right? We offer our services for specific reasons, but just our day-to-day life, sharing what we go through, also helps you deal with that when you're confronted with a situation like that. So thank you for sharing, Tanks. I appreciate it. This next question is going to be to everybody. And the question is, right, what are some of the reasons a person inside will want to join this program? I'll start with you, Serafin.
Well, I believe one of the reasons I wanted to participate in this program because I had to figure out some things about myself that were keeping me down, keeping me inside of prison. And these involved with psychological questions as to why I felt the need to, or why was I so susceptible to peer pressure while I was in prison? Why was I adhering to a false sense of identity? Why did I feel the need to belong to something that was harming me and not only me, but harming my family, because it was keeping me from developing a positive mindset in order to get myself out of prison. These programs I feel are necessary in order to help people, particularly incarcerated people, identify these character mindsets that are flawed and help you correct them in order to regain your freedom and do good in society once you're out. So I can't think of any other reason other than that, to become a better person, improve yourself as a person, and come out and re-enter society and do good and contribute back to society.
Thank you, Serafina. I appreciate that. Well said. Mr. West, Averhart.
Yes, you might repeat the question, please.
Excuse me?
You might repeat the question, please.
Oh, yeah, no problem. What are some of the reasons why somebody would want to take this program inside?
First of all, you gotta want change. That's one of the major key reasons you gotta want change. You gotta absolutely take the opportunity, like Brother Tanks was saying earlier, delve into yourself and acknowledge that you are definitely a flawed individual. And these programs will allow you to assess everything within yourself and become the cornerstone of your recovery. And that's what it took for me. It took a long time for me to even acknowledge what remorse was, what amends was. I didn't even know those things until I even attended these groups. When CJ and Jamil started speaking towards remorse and amends and the gang lifestyle and how destructive it was, at the time, I just was I was right. And me having that state of mind clouded my judgment. And when I began the process of opening myself up to individuals in the group, telling my story, telling my life, and telling what went on, it allowed me to more progress and get more in tune with my emotions. So I started to identify more so what was wrong with me, because wasn't nothing wrong with nobody else. It just was me. And it turned out I was suffering. So that began the process. And once I began the process of self-discovery, it allowed me to better understand the actions.
Thank you.
The actions that I was taking and how disruptive they were, and it led me down a path of destruction. But groups like board preparation, I remember I was in prison, guys just asking, like, yeah, you prepare for board? You want a group? I said, this is not a preparation for board. This is a preparation for the rest of my life. This is not a process in which you prepare for board, you prepare for anything short term. This is a preparation which you have to wholeheartedly invest your entire life into. So that allowed me to more so be more engaging and more in tune with that lifestyle, which allowed me to be a more positive and productive individual. And once I began the process of really getting into that began the cornerstone of my recovery. It's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I really appreciate everybody at ARC for allowing me to just be a part of the family. Tanks, can't thank you enough. Mark Taylor, can't thank you enough. Jamil, Caesar, you guys have been hugely inspirational in my recovery process. And I don't think I'd be sitting here today if I didn't have individuals like you who would sit down with me and allow me to like tell you what was going on in my life and give me some positive feedback and make better choices and decisions. Because life is about choices and decisions and making them in the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wes. I'm going to ask you a question about hope. Before I do, I'm going to answer it myself. So I know the one thing that gives me hope is how much the system has changed since when I first went in 1997. So when I went in 1997, less than 1% of people were found suitable for release. It was a very, very low number of everyone who was sentenced to life. And there were a lot of people sentenced to life in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. And now it's up to around a third, I believe. So a lot of our brothers and sisters are beginning to come home. Like seeing everyone on this screen right now gives me hope because I see the way that you re-entered society. I see the things that you're doing. I see the way that you're contributing to our communities in definitive and meaningful ways. And that gives me hope. I know even when we had our graduation during the pandemic and couldn't go in, we sent in some videos. One of them was of Seraphine explaining to the men how long that he had been in the shoe and now he's home and his whole family is there with him. And that inspired our students. So to see these things are very, very inspirational to me. But I want to know, and I believe we'll start with Tanks. What gives you hope today?
Repeat that again, Mark. You said what?
So what gives you hope today? What in your life or whatever you're seeing in the world, what gives you hope?
That's a very good question. I begin with when I first came in. It's very hard to have hope when they sentence you. When I'm sentenced to 50 years to life, and I'm still a teenager, I can't even process that. I don't even know what. I didn't even know many people that was 50 years old at the age I was, and it was hard to go into prison and seeing men that were sentenced to 7 to life or 10 to life that been there 25, 30 years. And to think that how much time would I have to do until I have a chance to come home? And everything that I saw in the institution all pointed to that I'm gonna live the rest of my life in prison. And it's very hard to have hope when there's nothing that you can base that on coming home. And it could be very depressing. And it could really suck the light out of one's future, how they envision their future. And so you have to combat that. And the way I combated that was I just read books about people that was in very despair situations and how they remain hopeful despite all evidence that pointed to having hope in that moment is one of the most illogical things to have. It's one of the most illogical things to do is still remain hopeful in one of the most helpless and hopeless situations. And so I held on to that. Then a few years later, as the system began to change, like first when I seen that the SB 9 allowing juveniles that were sentenced to life without parole had the possibility to be resentenced to 25 years to life. That was that spark, that one little spark. Then it began to grow as more and more legislations were passed and more laws began to re-examine how we treat juveniles and just then become broadened how we treat people that are incarcerated in general. So my hope began to grow more. And as my hope grew, so did this insatiable appetite to grow within myself to be a better person, being involved in self-help groups, and just thinking that that my exterior circumstances is all a result of things that is going on internally. And as I began to change internally, so have my external world. And it was just that spark of hope that was able to change my world and save my life. Because if I didn't have any hope, I would not be here. I would have gave up and succumbed to the pressure of some of the cultures within prison. And being out here in the world, I'm filled with hope. I'm very lively with hope, and I believe anything is possible. My mere existence in the free world is an example and a demonstration to myself and to others that anything is possible. You know, keep hope alive and continue to work towards the things that you're hopeful for, even if no evidence exists that that's a possibility. Continue to keep that hope and work towards it.
Thank you, Tanks. Wes, I've seen how active you've been in the community since you've been released. That's a source of inspiration to me. What gives you hope today?
What gives me hope today, man? I got to give it to the man upstairs first. You know, without him, wouldn't that be possible? And what gives me hope today is just people actually taking the time to hear me now, invest in me. And that's something I never had in the past. You know, I get associated with individuals who are professors at college now, directors, producers, and just knowing that even through my struggles, even when I'm struggling mentally, I can reach out and call somebody, or somebody can call me and I can tell them what's going on, and they can give me some positive words, some inspiration. That's huge for me, because in the past nobody ever reached out to call me. I never reached out, you know. So and that allowed me to like climb that ladder. As of right now, you know, what actually gives me hope is I'm taking an opportunity to get back to people in society. You know, this summer I'm filming a docu-series. It's about my life. It's about redemption, and it's probably gonna be it's either gonna be on Prime Video or Netflix. But it's a process in which, you know, it speaks towards my life and the person I was, how I became that person, and the person I am today, and it speaks volume towards, you know what I mean, real change. And I can't thank God enough. I can't thank individuals who I engage with in a positive and positive, productive level enough, you know, because without people taking the opportunity to listen to me, or me taking the opportunity to listen to other individuals, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. And that's definitely life. It's about constantly evolving and making the right choices and decisions, and those doors to opportunity, positive opportunities, definitely come knocking. And I today pride myself on taking advantage of all of the positive opportunities. There is, true enough, there's temptation out there in society, but it's about what you do and what you say and how you respond in the moment. And now I take the opportunity to do and say and respond righteously versus destructive.
Thank you so much, Wes. I definitely appreciate that. We're nearing the very end of our fireside chat today, but I want to ask you guys, what would you say if you had a message to give to our brothers and sisters currently incarcerated right now? What would it be? What would you say to them? Some words. And I'll start with Tommy.
For me, I would just say that while you're incarcerated, just know that your family and your loved ones that are home, they're locked up too. They're doing time too. It's difficult for them. And when we're in there, we reach out to them for everything. Inside, it's hard to have anything. And so I would say just try and really prepare yourself when you get out to have the education you need and the skills and the tools you need to hit the ground running and be successful. If you're a part of the ARC, awesome. Stick with it, stay connected, and get involved as much as you can. If you're not, you absolutely want to get involved, because the connection and the network out here in society today is what's most important. The knowledge and the understanding that you have are just life skills. But knowing people is what really helps you get to a position where you can do something. So network is very important, and ARC is the best network I've ever had. So I would literally just say, focus on who you are, educate yourself, and try to really fundamentally understand who it is you are, what you did, and make sure that you have the skills and tools you need to never do that again. And let your family know how much you appreciate them. We're really struggling out there too without you.
Thank you so much, Tommy. Wes?
Two things I like to say to everybody paying attention. First of all, ask yourself two questions. What do you value and what means the most to you in this world? After you receive those two answers, work towards that.
Thank you,
That's
Wes.
the message I want to send everybody up there.
Thank you so much. Serafin?
I would say that the preparation that you're undertaking right now to go before the parole board, it's not just for that purpose. It's to prepare you for when you re-enter society, to be able to more easily adapt to what you have to do in order to live comfortably here in society. So that's one of the main things. You know, don't think that you're just putting in the work that you're doing right now for the purpose of being found suitable. It's also to be able to be successful in your reentry process. And one last thing, if you're not taking any computer literacy classes while you're in there right now, do it, because everything out here is digital, and you're going to need that help.
Mr. Tanks? Thank you, Serafin.
Yes. I say for those that are going to the board, because not everyone in prison is going to the board. I said for those, if actually this goes to everyone, your mindset, how your mindset is going to determine how your environment is. If just keep it positive, have that positive mindset. If without it, it's going to be very difficult to have positive results in your life if a lot of thoughts in your minds is negative. Also, the people that you surround yourself with often will dictate and determine the path that you go to. I surrounded myself around a lot of guys that were facilitators or mentors or tutors in education, people in the chapel, and that's what I gravitate towards. And because, as a matter of fact, I think Mark, you told me one time that you're the average of your 5 closest friends, right? And if you're the 5 closest people that you're with every single day is not really doing nothing productive in your life, more likely you'll be the 6th person not doing much with your life. But if you're around 5 people that are doing a lot while you're in prison, more likely you'll be doing the same thing. And the third thing I would say is develop some type of skill that you can apply out here that will make yourself marketable. Study and continue to read and continue to advance. Wherever level that you are, there's another level that you can get to. So with that, I'll leave you with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you everyone for joining us today. Really loved having you on this panel. I love seeing you on this side of the fence, seeing you out here, because we were all on the same yard at one point. I love seeing you out here. I love seeing what you're doing in our communities. It's greatly appreciated. We'll end on this note. And before I do, I want to thank our audience for joining as well. And I want to say, please join us on July 9th at 12 p.m. as well. And I want to tell our incarcerated brothers and sisters that we will not stop fighting for you. I want to tell our formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters and community members, we will continue to advocate for you out here. And the gentleman on the screen, like, our members are the backbone of this organization. So we really, really appreciate our members. This is why we do what we do. And this is why we're so passionate about what we do. So thank you everyone for joining us today. And please tune in again on July 9th at 12 p.m. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you.